July is just a very, very active month. It really is. Life-changing moments because, yeah, they really are. There's just so much happening. And to me, it was like, which points do I hone in on? And I think the major topic is that July, first of all, started out with a bang. We had the 4th of July, we had Mars and we had Uranus doing its thing, and then everybody was on fire, and there was a lot of activity, lots of conversations, a lot of communications. Uranus is in Gemini, and very active, very active month. And that's why I say it's life changing. And it's, we looked at everything that we've been doing for the past 6 months, and we've decided we celebrated at the end of June with not Gemini, but Jupiter going into Leo. It takes us let's take a moment for this time frame. It's going to be there for a full year. Acknowledge, celebrate the things that you've done, the things that you have become, the distances you have gone. Have gratification. We just talked about that a little bit, but that was a celebration. It's kind of like Jupiter moves into Leo. I'm like, how am I? How am I shining? And what have I shined through? And my light is still shining as I walk through these things, and to have gratitude for that, but to also have humility along with it. So like I was saying, lots of changes, big changes, because first we've celebrated where we are. We're acknowledging where we are. And now we're realizing I'm going forward with this information. I'm going forward with this process. And I'm not taking this with me because that hasn't been working. So now we're in that state where the seeds have been planted, the crops are in the ground, you're watering them accordingly. You're realizing that fertilizer wasn't the best fertilizer. Maybe you didn't like the way it smelled. Maybe it made you nauseous when you went out to the garden and did whatever you had to do. But then you decided, I'm not going to go with that one. I'm going to go with a different one, or it's not working well for these plants. They don't like them, or these vegetations, whatever it was. So that's how we started this month. And then each of the weeks that we're going through has something significant going on as well. And
let's quickly note too. So today we're going to talk about July 10th through the 30th. So a big chunk of July. We're jumping into a big chunk of July.
Yeah. Yeah. And you know what? We cannot forget the professor planets and their conversations that they're having. They're at an early degree. They just moved into fresh signs. So they've got a brand new syllabus that they're creating for us. And that's why I'm saying that this is going to be a life changing, because of the other aspects, the other conversations that are going on as well. We're just coming out of Venus and Mercury, where Venus had to make some decisions about these things that she absolutely loves and adores, but they just can't go forward with you because they're not part of the efficiency that we are now contributing to. So the first thing that I'm just the new moon. We talk about the new moon all the time, about planting intentions and all that kinds of things. But I just want to keep your attention for just a minute around the fact that the last new moon that we had in June was unaspected. There was nobody else in the conversation. It was just the sun and the moon. That's it. Here we go into July, another super moon. There's the sun and the moon in conversation, but Mercury is the only one it's talking to. And they're all in the same party, in the same boat. Everybody's all together. It's not talking across the chart. It's right next door. So Mercury's at 19 degrees in Cancer. The sun and the moon are going to be at 21 degrees in Cancer. Now, this alone is talking about the way that you're communicating this delicate conversation that you just had with yourself, your ego and your emotional self. How are you speaking about this conversation? Oh my God, I can't believe that was we talked about that. Or is there shame involved in it? Or is it, you know what? I'm really glad we had that intimate conversation. I am really glad that I spoke my truth to myself. That wasn't my baggage to carry. That was somebody else's baggage. And look what I've done when I let go of that baggage. Those types of conversations. So is it an empowerment conversation, or is it a conversation where you're going to continue along with the shame? Oh, the poor me, or the poor empowerment, trauma, drama kind of a thing. And wonderfully enough, Mercury's in retrograde right now. So, oh my God, what a beautiful time to look back at the way that I've talked to self, way that I've displayed myself, communicated, the ways that I've done all those Mercurian things, the ways that I've taken action. So everybody's like, oh, Mercury's in retrograde. I'm like, girlfriend, yeah, yay, heck yeah. Let me take a little bit of extra time to think about, how am I speaking to myself? What am I spellcasting out there? How am I speaking to others? Because the way I'm speaking to others is definitely going to be coming back to me that way as well. So take the time, Mercury in retrograde, yes. Revisit your past to continue to process the deep feelings, Cancer, the inner healing, Cancer, the emotional reset. Take inventory, take baseline, and do it now around safety, security, home, emotional nourishment, emotional home, sacredness of your emotional home. I mean, we could just continue to go deeper and deeper and deeper. However, let's not forget, Cancer is about protection as well. What are you trying to protect? Are you trying to protect crap that just can't fit under the shell anymore? Assess it. Does it need to come in the shell? Doesn't need to come in the shell, let it out of the shell. If it needs to come in the shell, maybe we need to view it a little bit differently, perspective, so that it can be carried lighter and not take up so much space. Whew. So that was on the 14th of July. And the full moon, the new moon here is going to be like at 5:43 in the morning. So I would go to bed with these intentions, the full moon eve or the new moon eve the night before, just like, okay, let Mercury speak to me. Dream, let me dream the things that maybe I can't understand right now. And journal your dreams. Makes no sense. That's okay. So come back to it a little bit. Maybe it will. Just write it down. Oh my God, that clown was in the car and he was driving upside down and he was what? That's right. And his shoes didn't match. What was up with? Let it go. Let it go. The next thing, and I'm just going to briefly mention, on July 18th, Uranus is going to be trine Pluto. So these are professor planets. And remember, they had this big conference a couple of months ago where they were going to talk about what they were going to present in the syllabus for this year. So now Uranus is in a trine with Pluto.
Wait, say just really briefly, as if I don't know anything. What is Uranus? What does Pluto represent?
Uranus is representing sudden changes, enlightenment as well as awakening, and Pluto, transformation, death, rebirth. Most important thing is the rebirth. That's what's coming through for me loud and clear right now. It's about rebirthing. But I don't want you to get like stuck in all that stuff, because the message is pretty clear. It's saying Uranus is also like very futuristic. So with it in a trine to Pluto, which is about your transformation, the doors are wide open for you. The possibilities are open for you. Yes, Uranus has this bad rap. Yes, Pluto has this bad rap. You have two negatives, they come together. Does that make a positive? Is that how math works, kind of a thing? But you know what I'm saying? Like, what old structures or patterns are beginning to crumble? Take notice of those. What's beginning to crumble so that you can be open and aware for the new possibilities that are occurring? That's going to be the theme of this trine. It's a rare outer connection, but Uranus is going to accelerate this transformation for you. So imagine a wound. It's got to go through its healing stage. So if we could have something that's going to accelerate the healing of that, so that we don't go through the sticky, itchy parts of it as much, and it's shorter, think of it that way, instead of Uranus, sudden change, things are going to be so different, and he's not a nice guy. It's accelerating the process for you. You've had a chance to review with the Mercury retrograde. This is accelerating the process of your healing for you, because we're not going to get into Chiron yet, but Chiron, he just went into Taurus, and his first conversations with everybody so far is a square. We need to pivot something in order for you to transform. That's just Chiron's conversation around healing. So with this trine that's occurring, there's going to be an acceleration of healing. There's going to be an acceleration of awareness that something needs to heal, how to heal it, and whether or not you're ready to heal it as well, because Mercury is still in retrograde at this point in time. Jupiter is going to be in Leo for a while. And on the 20th, it's going to be a while. It's going to be a year. And on the 20th, it's going to be trine with Neptune. So again, it's asking you to celebrate your accomplishments because it's in Leo. Neptune is going to be in Aries. So it's that personal portion of it, that me portion of it, that I portion of it. Celebrate how your ego has helped you out in as many situations as it has. Let's not focus on ego being bad and emotional being good. Let's just focus on what situations or what accomplishments your ego has helped you to bring forward, to do, shine a light on those. And then it also brings around that energy of celebrating the changes that you've made, and then your ability to envision the possibilities that are supported with your intuition and faith so that you can be open to what could be the next steps of, yes, I did this, and oh my gosh, really own it, feel it. Thank you, ego, for this. And we're going to go forward and maybe don't react in the way that you reacted the last time this happened, but we've learned from that, and we react, we respond in a more elevated, evoluted way. And then on the 22nd, we've got the sun going into Leo, and it's going into Leo with Jupiter, and it's in a conjunct, which means they're at the same dinner party. They're having a fabulous time. Jupiter is expanding. It's expanding the light of the sun. It's expanding the pride, the courage of Leo. And what it's saying, what this energy is saying to you, and I love that it's the 22nd, because that's that 2-2. Okay, that's that balance around the twos. There's a master number of the 22 as well. And it's saying to find your center stage with humility. Have courage and heart to expand within your humility. Stand taller, stand louder, because you know you're coming from your authentic self. Jupiter in Aquarius, not Jupiter in Aquarius, Pluto in Aquarius. Authentic self. That's transforming into our authentic self. Be in the spotlight of your authentic life. Authenticity is coming through so much right now, with it, Jupiter expanding your authenticity. And yeah, show your authenticity. Leo is like, yeah, let me show you. But are you walking across that stage like the lion and the Wizard of Oz in the very beginning, when he didn't show his true self and everybody could read right through him and like, we know you're not courageous. Okay. But, or is he walking across that field like, you know what? I've come through this and I did this and I embodied that encouragement when Dorothy was going to get eaten by something or other. And I stepped forward. Towards the end of The Wizard of Oz, he is standing in his authenticity. So courageously shine your light on your self-worth, and now upgrade it for your own upgrade. Whew. On the 23rd, Mercury goes direct. So things are going to start to get a little bit less foggy. It's not in full direct motion. It's going to take a couple of days for it to go full. We're still going to be in the shadow of the retrograde. But clarity is going to start to return. Nostalgic themes are going to come in here as well, because you're going to see them as not terrible memories. They're going to be nostalgic memories of, wow, I did do, or I did have the opportunity to see. I had the opportunity to learn. And I say that because Mercury's in Cancer right now. So it's about the emotional understanding of those deep things that we thought we needed protection from. But now we're bringing them back underneath the shell lighter and more evolved so that they help us along. They're added to the thickness of the shell. Okay. On the 26th, Saturn comes in retro. She goes into retrograde in Aries. So again, we're talking about that ego time. And it's a very simple conversation that Saturn is having, although there's different things that are at this dinner party, but it's saying to you, you've got these wonderful ideas. You've committed to them. Now, what are you actually going to do with them? Let's make them into our base of the soup. Like, this is the stock. This is the one piece that has to be added, and we build upon it. Choose your direction carefully, because you're building on something that is meant to last. Keep in mind it's Saturn that's having this conversation. So you know there's going to be discipline involved. You know there's going to be a maturity around the lessons that have been learned. But it's also asking you, what is your personal relationship to your authority? Because if your personal relationship to your authority is solid enough to build upon that stock material, this is the lessons. This is the conversation that's going. Let's always come back to, as things get difficult, what is my relationship to my personal authority? And the fact that it's going into retrograde, let's review. Let's see what my relationship is right now. Again, getting our baseline, not obtaining it, but owning our baseline, because we're going forward in July. Forward, we're moving in July. So just to acknowledge and to say, this is my baseline, and to know this is my baseline. Now I know what I'm adding onto. And if I'm adding something that kind of makes the baseline a little murky, let's not add that again. Think about recipes. Think about soup. Because on the 26th, beautiful story, the nodes, your destiny, your nodes of destiny. That's where without going into too much astrology, the nodes are considered your fated conversation. We enter in at our south node. That's things that we're very comfortable with. And we are aiming to our north node, and that is for our evolution. So they're switching. Every 18 months they switch. And now the north node is going to be in Aquarius, and the south node is going to be in Leo. So it's going to be community versus ego, collaborations versus I could do this myself. Collaboration. Okay. It's also about finding your authentic self. See how authenticity keeps coming in and acknowledging. If you take the steps that the cosmos is presenting to you, it's not like you're just falling into this on the 26th. Like, wait, the nodes are changing. No. The nodes are changing, but I already know my baseline of my soup. Oh, it's good. I'm going to add a little bit of Aquarian collaboration, a little bit of Aquarian community, and take away so much of that ego. I could do this myself. Why? I mean, you don't really have to. So find that like-minded community. And one of the things that was coming through is that the act of contributing grows your confidence. So that's something that we're all in this state where we're like, okay, this is so new. I just did my check-in for the year, and what I'm stepping into right now is so new. But knowing that you're stepping into this, and whatever it is that you're contributing, whatever is going to bring more confidence and allow you to grow, if you look at it that way, it empowers you. Like, I'm going to take this step, and I know whatever I'm contributing, what petal I'm placing into this water is going to be for the collective, and it's going to allow my confidence to grow. And that's when, on a collective level, we have influencers. We all know what an influencer is. And I'm not really sure why this was coming through, but it was saying influencers versus those that inspire. And I do remember when I said, I'm going to do a YouTube channel level. Oh, you're trying to be an influencer? I'm like, fuck no. I'm trying to influence anybody. If I can inspire and aspire myself to do and to evolve, that's why I am not trying to influence anybody to do something they're not ready to do. So there's a difference, and they want you to change from being somebody that might want to influence and all about me, to how can you inspire somebody else? And then finally, girls, we close out with the full moon in Aquarius. And be seen, but don't make it all about being seen. Okay. Contribute to the collective without disappearing into it. So again, we're bringing in that authentic way. The conversation with Chiron is we're healing something. around our self-worth. And as we collaborate and as we contribute to the community, that's going to build our confidence. That's going to add to the layer of skin that's now being healed over with Chiron in Taurus. It's going to illuminate what makes you unique. But more importantly, it's going to illuminate how it is affecting, contributing, serving the collective. So I'm not saying an influencer is going to get lost in the shadows of all the other influencers, but there's always that possibility. So if you stand in your authentic self, then what weight are you carrying for the collective? Because this is about the collective self. It could be even your collective self, your collective healing. Oxygen mask on first and then help somebody else. Or it could be what you're contributing to the collective out there. It's just, you're open to all those possibilities. But if you really have to start here, transform self, evolve self so that you acknowledge your contributions to the collective self, collective outer, and it builds your confidence and allows you to keep going. Because this is the month where things can get really like torn up by droughts. You know, I feel like the plant life is speaking to us. This is a time in the northern hemisphere, I'm gonna say, where that sun is at its hottest. And if we're not nourishing it with the water, with the Cancerian energies, nourishing, nurturing, protective, it's gonna dry up and it's just gonna turn to dust. So take a lesson from the cosmos. Drink lots of water. Document your baseline, people, because I want you to be empowered. Document your baseline. And it doesn't have to be like overly, oh my God, it's 5, 15, 16 pages long. Document your baseline. It can be 2 paragraphs, is that all you know? It could be just bullet points of words. Just do it because it's going to help empower you through this July.
Yeah.
How do you document your baseline? Like what does that look like exactly? Like what words might be of, just for somebody who's like, what do you mean document your baseline? Like how do you do that? Like you wake up.
Well, one of the things is to document your gratitude. What are you grateful for? And if you're able to write that down. And I, as an empowerment coach, I would ask what brings you joy. And then I would ask what brings you discomfort. And usually what happens when you start talking about people's discomfort, I don't know. Okay, well, then you can go back to another positive, but then you come back to the discomfort. And when you're asking about somebody's baseline is how do you feel about the community around you? Keep it outside first. And then you come to the question, how do you feel about self? What kinds of feelings come up when you know that you have to walk into a new atmosphere, a new house party? How does it feel? You don't know anybody. It's just yourself. Take a moment, close your eyes, see when you have that question, what illuminates, what alights, what makes me feel a little stuck? Where is it happening in my body? And I'm referring mostly to the central channel, but where do you feel like, ooh, or none? If you feel overenjoyed, you're like, let's go, then you know what's in your heart. And that's your baseline. You approach new situations, new challenges with love in your heart. Okay. Or you approach new situations, new challenges with a little bit of fear. And it's like, okay, well, can you identify why that fear is around? No. That's your baseline. Nope. And maybe you take this time and say, well, why am I fearful? Well, I don't know if I'm going to meet anybody. I don't know if I'm going to say something stupid. Well, what's stupid? So you start asking yourself these questions, and that's how I would find out what somebody's baseline is.
I love that. That's awesome. Those are very wonderful questions for everybody to consider.
Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah.
No, that's great.
Yeah.
And I feel like too, it's really interesting listening through what's coming up for July because like you were saying, well, it seems like to me, it hits so many different areas of our lives, but it all comes back to your authentic foundation and how important that is for you to be able to then experience everything that's coming up in your truth and in your strength and in something that feels right to you and how to move through it. So I think that's really, really neat. And yeah, giving those questions to kind of reflect on, I think is going to be really helpful just to, like you said, like ask yourself, what brings me joy? What brings me, when do I feel most myself? When do I feel like I'm confident? Like just sitting at those like base emotions of what kind of what make up a person and just playing with it. It's a great reflection exercise for sure. And then you
And
know
then
how
you,
to go forward.
exactly, but you have to ask that hard question, like, what have I contributed? Because
Yeah.
this, like I said, this is life changing right now. This, you've decided, you've checked in. Now you're taking the step forward. And, what have I contributed? What have I contributed to my collective?
Mm-hmm.
Those types of things.
Wow. Big questions.
Hmm. Here comes the fire.
The sun is fully in the
It's like,
sky.
here it is, the flashlight, and it's like shining right there. Like, this is it.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Well, that's a lot of excitement because I know in our last astrology episode, we were kind of talking about how it was a pause and a little bit of a breather before all of this came out in the open and into our timeline right now. So yeah, you've had a little rest and now we can be reflective and we can really solidify how we want to be and move through all this interesting energy. So that's exciting.
I say hydrate.
Yes, balance, balance, balance for sure.
Absolutely.
Beautiful. Well, thank you all for listening. Um, and I just want to say too, if you want assistance with sitting with yourself, Adrienne does offer really amazing empowerment services. Melinda and I also offer different services. If you want to work with your body and movement and all of that stuff, check out Melinda's stuff. We all offer Reiki services, um, kind of card reading services. I actually also just put together a summer season guide. So if you're more of a get a workbook and do it on your own kind of thing, I'll put a link in the description that can kind of help you work through the summer energies, with some exercises and things like that. Ladies, any other resources you want to mention?
Yeah, I'm super excited to do Chiron and Taurus on the 26th of July. And this just so happens to be the day that the nodes are actually changing into a different sign. So we're going to be looking at, some history on Chiron, just a little bit, but some very interesting history on Chiron. And then how Chiron and Taurus is directly affecting your chart, because any astrologer is going to give you the basics of. But this one is going to be how it's affecting your chart, what conversations it's having with your chart. Um, and it's 8 years. No, it's more than 8 years. I don't even know how many years. It's at 2036, I think, or something like that. It's going to be with you for a long time. And for most of this time frame, it's in a direct conversation with Pluto in Aquarius. So this course, this workshop is going to allow you to feel what's going on and to continue to be empowered throughout it.
Yay, I'm
That's
excited.
wonderful.
Mm.
I'm very excited for that. Melinda, anything on your end?
I have regular belly dance classes, sacred movement, where we embody actually sacred symbols and energies of the goddesses. But that I have a lot of in-person classes in my studio in Waltham, Massachusetts, called Moody Street Circus. And so you can find out about that. Everybody is welcome, even people who haven't belly danced before. I'm a very just you're all welcome to come and try and just go with the flow of it. And I offer online private sessions as well, where I've taught people like who are curious about the ways that moving your body in shimmies and undulations, and who just want to get back in touch with their body on some level, empower themselves, get more confidence in moving. I do private sessions with that, and like evening out both sides of the body, and always infused with Reiki, love, and just self-compassion. And yeah, that's coming up all the time. I'm always here doing that.
Lovely. Well, I feel like we have a plethora of things to offer to people to help them kind of set their foundations and know who they are and how they want to move forward. So yeah, definitely reach out to us. And, you know, the first thing that came to mind is I was going to say, good luck in July, but I don't want that to sound so terrible. You can do this. It's a lot of energy. You can work through it. It's not, don't be scared.
It's funny. Well, if you think about the nodes, you know, it's like upside down horseshoe would be north, and then that would be south, and horseshoes are good luck. So, and I kind of feel like Jupiter in this conversation, just moving into a new sign, Jupiter is about luck. And July is the 7th month, which is a lucky number. So
there we go. You're supported with luck.
Yes, you've got the luck.
You've got the luck. And make your soup. Think about soup. That's a direct quote from Adrian. Think about soup and make your soup. Fill it with delicious broth. Your favorite values
sustainable.
are in there.
Yes.
You know, like you're gonna wherever you go, you're just like sweating the soup odor.
Sweating the soup.
You're emanating it.
Emanating the soup odor.
That's hilarious. All right, everybody. Well, we hope you're doing well, and we will see you soon. Bye.
See you soon. Mwah.
Sweat the soup.
Sweat the soup. Immediately I started thinking about garlic.